it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets again, and I just wanted to show you the cuts that I made from the Mickey and Friends Cricut cartridge. I want to apologize again for my lighting situation. It still isn't fixed, but I wanted to get these cuts shown so that I could put the cards together tonight, but I definitely wanted to show you guys what some of the cuts look like, the sizes that I did, and then also some of my recommendations. So first I want to start off by showing you guys the front of the cartridge. If you didn't see my other videos, this is the front of the cartridge, the Mickey and Friends, and I cut out 2 of these cuts, and it's Minnie 3, which is page 41, and then the second cut that I did is Donald, and he is on page 51, and he looks like he's throwing a fit. So I did those cuts at 4.5 inches, so I wanted to show you what they look like. So here's Donald, and then let me show you this cutout. This is his hat, and it's just supposed to go like this over his head. I think I can see it right there. You go. So that's what the cut is supposed to look like. So, and then let me show you Minnie. Here's Minnie. And again, I cut out all of the pieces at 4.5 inches. I did cut the dress out of a different color. It was supposed to be just a plain blue, so I used a bluish purple with polka dots on it because I just thought that was really cute. So, now for some of my suggestions. For the cuts, one of my new YouTube subscribers had commented on one of my videos yesterday and said that they wanted to know how difficult it was to make these cuts. They were talking about possibly buying cartridges, I think, and wanted to see how difficult it was. So I wanted to make these cuts so I would be able to talk about it. I had made one cut before. I had made, which I can't believe I can't find it, but I made the Mickey from page 58, and it's just his face, and there's not that many layers, and it was really easy to put together, and I cut it out at larger than 4.5 inches. I think I cut it at 5.5, but I'm not positive. If I can find it, I will make a video and show you guys. So my recommendations are, number 1, don't make it any smaller than 4.5 inches. If you look at these pieces, like look at how tiny some of these the stripes are, and especially this piece that goes underneath his chin. There's just a lot of little pieces because the cuts are so detailed. So my first recommendation is don't cut it smaller than 4.5 inches. My second recommendation is when you are checking the speed on your Cricut, put it to the slowest possible speed. I think on the Cricut Expression, which is what I have, I believe it's low. That's the slowest setting on that one. I did find that it causes less tears when you do the cartridge at that speed. Also, make sure that your blade depth is set correctly. For most of my cardstock pieces, which are like this, they're not super thick. I use a depth of 5. So that's generally what I do, 5 or 6. If the cardstock's a little bit thicker, I will use 6 to cut them out. The other suggestion I have for you is when I did the mini cut, I wanted to cut out this purse. And I tried to cut it out in the same color as her dress, this little polka dot pattern. I cut it at 4.5 inches. Now, I thought this was very similar to paper doll dress up and everyday paper dolls, where the accessories coordinate with the actual image that's cut out. This is not the case. The purse will cut out more like you had it set to real dial, so it will be 4.5 inches tall when it's cut out. It doesn't scale itself to cut out so that you can put it around Minnie's arm. If you've ever used any of the other two, if you don't understand that, and if you haven't used either of those, the paper doll cartridge, or really anything that has a layer along with it, basically it's just, it scales the item down so that it'll fit with the other pieces that you've cut out. Like on paper doll dress up, they have a graduation gown and cap and diploma, and they will all cut at sizes that are scaled to the size of the doll that you cut out. So if you cut it out at 4.5 inches, it will scale the diploma down so that the doll can hold the diploma in its hand without making it look enormous. Unfortunately, the icons in this are not the same. So just a little heads up in case you were thinking the same thing that I was. So I did turn off the machine before it was able to cut out the rest of the purse because I realized it was cutting out really, really big. Another suggestion for this is when you cut out this base layer, cut it out in black. It has all of the tick marks in it so that you know exactly where your pieces go. I did cut out this first layer the one time, but really all it is a backing for this. So if your cardstock is really thin and like this, it's kind of flimsy, and you want another solid piece of cardstock to go behind this, you can cut out this shift piece in black and then just have it back it. So it's basically just a backing for this so that if you turn it over, if you were doing something for scrapbooking and selling it or whatever, and you didn't want these cuts to be on the back, you could do that. You could do a black layer behind it so they wouldn't see all these little, like the little tick marks on the back of that. So that's just another thing. I just don't do it because I feel like it's a waste of cardstock. Plus, it's going on a card or a scrapbook page, so nobody's going to see the back of it, and it will hold up. It'll be fine. My next tip is to cut things out in the colors that are suggested. I know that I didn't do it for the Minnie, at least the first time you make the cut. Because thing is, if you look at Donald, like I wasn't sure what color this was supposed to be. And I didn't exactly know in the pages, I wasn't exactly sure what that cut was supposed to be. So I just did it in the same color that they had suggested. It's kind of like an orangish yellow here. And then the yellow feet. I wasn't really sure what that was supposed to be. So it's supposed to be the inside of his beak. So when it'll save you some cardstock for if you cut it out at least the first time in that same color that's suggested in the book, so that you know that when you put everything together it's going to look okay. But then as you move on and do more characters and get more comfortable with it, or do the character a second time, you can change up the colors. And I'm not saying that if it's his shirt, obviously you know where his shirt is going, but there's some random ones that you're not really sure, like this little piece under his chin. I had no idea where that was supposed to go, so just made sure it cut out in white. And then, I don't think I have any other tips. I thought I had another one, but I think that's about it for right now. So those would be my things. Make sure you don't cut them probably any smaller than 4.5. Make sure your blade depth is correct. Change it to the slowest possible setting, because that will, prevent your paper from tearing. Oh, I do have the other tip. The other tip was you may have to cut things more than once. Like when I cut Donald's shirt the first time, this piece was okay, but this piece up here was ripped. When I cut it a second time, this piece was okay and this piece was ripped. So sometimes, especially when you have multiple cuts on things, if you cut it twice, sometimes you'll get one good piece and one bad piece, and then you can get a whole set. I know that it's kind of wasting cardstock, but say they cut this one first and this is the bad one in the first cut, you can just turn it off after it makes this first cut before it gets to this one, so you're not wasting as much cardstock. If the cardstock does come out a little bit rough, like it did right here, I don't know how well you can see it, but it did come out a little bit rough. Just kind of try to smooth it out the best you can. Use your scissors and go around the edges and trim if you can. Use an X-Acto knife. Pieces like that are so teeny tiny, you're not really going to see. So that's another one of my recommendations, is sometimes you do have to cut things out more than once, especially when there's multiple pieces to that cut. So I hope that helps, and I'm really finding that these are easy to do when you really look at the picture, and it'll really show you where to place things, especially when you use this layer and it has all the tick marks in it and you can really see where things are supposed to go. So I definitely am going to be making more things. I'm going to start using my Pooh and Friends and the Pooh font Cricut cartridges because I definitely have some things that I want to make on that. But I just wanted to make 2 quick cuts on this tonight just to show you guys that it really is easy. It does take a little bit of time to put things together, but I'm really, really happy with the results, especially with Donald. I think Donald looks fantastic. Minnie, I'm really happy with her too. I just was really proud of Donald because he was a little bit more difficult to put together, and I was kind of guessing with the beak and things like that. But I'm really happy with the way these turned out, so hopefully that helps. If you guys have any other questions, or if there's another cut that you want me to make and put together and make a video of it, if you want me to make a video of putting the pieces together and how I do it, I can definitely do that. Just leave comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment, and I will talk to you guys soon. And again, sorry, I apologize about the lighting. I will get that fixed. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.